So we'll be productive and do a little vlog. Yeah, really easy day. The day started with absolutely zero hope. I didn't have the permit, and I just didn't sleep at all last night. It was really bad. I don't know what was going on. There was no ventilation in the guest house I was staying at, and you know, when you wake up, I think I said in a previous video, you wake up, you look in the mirror, and it looks like you haven't slept for like 5 years. Like, the bag's under my eyes. So I went back to sleep, woke up at 10:30, checkout was at 11, still didn't have a permit, and I ate, resented the idea that I had to get here because I have a schedule, which is completely super tight for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I then text the tour agency that I bought the permit from, and they gave me an address on the other side of Naryn, which was in a really weird location, but I got a taxi there, arrived at 1, and it's just some random guy's house. and I accosted this guy on the street, and I was like, hey, could you help me like get into this house, because maybe my permit's in there? And this guy just starts screaming in Kyrgyz, and then he opens up this person's house. He like manipulates the lock, and as we go inside, this guy comes out and he speaks English, Chinese and Kyrgyz. And I told him, is this your house? Is this the address? And he's like, yeah, it's the right location. I said, well, should be where my permit is. And he's like, oh no, it's not here, but I'll help you. So this guy like just trails through the internet trying to find this courier company and to get a number. And then he calls the guy, and the guy's like, oh, I'm delivering around Naryn now, so if you just give me any location, I'll give you your package. So then we go all the way back to the bus station, and the guy arrives like 10 seconds after my taxi pulls into the bus station, gives me the permit. I then walk like 10 minutes from the bus station on the highway in the direction of Kelsu and Torgot, and this guy just stops. I didn't even ask him to stop, he just stops, and it's the immigration officer for the Chinese border, and he drives me all the way to Akmuz, which is the junction at Akmuz, which is like a 5-hour walk. It's 15 kilometers in the car. And then I waited there like 10 seconds, and this guy in a Lada, he said, oh, get in. He drove me to Akmuz. I bought some water, started walking for an hour, and then this other person, this taxi driver, picks me up, and then I negotiated with him, and we drove all the way to the actual pass where they check your permit, past Basogo, which is like an hour and a half drive. This guy had a car from like 1975, the lowest suspension ever, and it only cost 170 som to drive that, which was incredible. Such a nice guy. And then after the border, he lives in some mountain pass, so he just dropped me off and drove away. And then I walked for an hour, and then this is the crazy part of the story. No one was stopping. I didn't ask anyone to stop. I was content walking. I have a tent. I would have just camped somewhere. And then a car stops. They said, get in. The moment I get in the car, it starts raining. We drive to Kelsu, where there's probably 10 guest houses, and they happen to be the owners of the guest house that I booked on trip.com. So out of every car that's driven past, the owners of the yurt camp happen to be the ones that stopped, and I happened to book this place online. So yeah, super crazy day. And I'm actually technically a day early now, because I thought I would be booked here tomorrow. That's when I would arrive, and on Saturday the weather's supposed to be pretty good. However, I think I'm going to utilise the fact that I'm a day early, try and get up there tomorrow if the weather's fine, and get back to Naryn the same day. And that gives me a little bit more breathing room for doing Songkul and then heading to Karakol. So yeah, that's the update. Pretty interesting stuff. And yeah, this is the yurt camp. There's loads actually. I don't think I've ever seen so many yurts in my life. There must be like 200-300 yurts here. It's incredible. They should have a nightclub somewhere. That'd be awesome. Like a massive yurt with a nightclub in it. So yeah, you can see over here before it gets dark. There is, yeah, so many. Incredible. Maybe Altan-Arashan's like that now. I haven't been back to Altan-Arashan on this trip. I think I don't know if I have time actually, because I want to go to Enelchek. Yeah, if so, I'd like to maybe do another day trip to Altan-Arashan, because I've been there every time I've come back to Kyrgyzstan. But I imagine now, because Kyrgyzstan's becoming so popular, that there'll be a similar kind of array of yurts in that valley too. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll leave it there.